everyone, and welcome to another manga review. Today we are reviewing Fungus and Iron. I've noticed a lot of darker shounens have been picking up speed, stuff like Attack on Titan and I guess Parasite. You know that subgenre that I'm talking about? They're kind of like shonens. They have like the same shonen tropes of training to get stronger and defeat your enemies, but they're not actually made for teenagers or kids. They're made with an adult audience in mind. Hence all the bloodiness and the gore and the yada yada. Fungus and Iron is one of those. This is a dark shonen. I don't know if that genre has a specific name, but that's just what I'm gonna call it. Let's go over the story a bit. Our main character is named Dante, and he's a part of this military organization which basically raises you from birth to be soldiers. Where are your parents? I don't know. These soldiers actually have implanted in them this fungus that causes them to be more susceptible to mind control and pledge their allegiance to Amagasa, the organization. Now, our main character, Dante, for whatever reason, is not affected by the fungus in his brain. It's also a side note that he's dyslexic. Welcome to the club, Dante. And I guess that's supposed to hint at some sort of reasoning why he's not susceptible to the mind control fungus in his brain. He also has a wolf scar on his neck. We don't know what that means yet, but I'm guessing that it's because he comes from a family line of special people, because that's usually how these types of stories go. If it was a star on his neck, he'd be part of the JoJo family, and this would be a whole other manga series. But because of him not really falling for Amagasa's mind control, he's always kind of been a thorn in their side. One day he's sent with a whole other crew on a mission in which they're supposed to stop these revolutionaries, which are people who have also not been susceptible to the fungus mind control. After their mission is completed, for some reason these soldiers are supposed to die, and Dante along with them, but because he doesn't want to die, he chooses not to. Sounds funny when I say it out loud. He just chooses not to die, and he winds up meeting with one of the revolutionaries who is a girl. Now normally Amagasa separates the boys and girls so they can never meet each other. I don't know how the heck they get more babies that way, especially when they're killing off soldiers left and right. I mean, there are so many, not even just talking about this one scenario in which they were like, okay, soldiers, go on this mission and then die. There are so many other scenarios in which they're just killing off soldiers just because. A guy sniffles during orientation and they fucking kill him. Can you really afford killing off your soldiers? Don't you, like, need them to perform military operations? But usually this is just to show how evil the organization is, as if, you know, everything else wasn't clear enough that this organization is not good. He spends the night with this girl and instantly falls in love with her, which is to be expected. This is actually the moment where I started, like, you know, actually rooting for this main character, because now he actually has a motivation, you know, getting with the revolutionary girl and getting out of Amagasa. But unfortunately, all nights must come to an end. He goes back to his organization, and they note that he was not supposed to go back, he was supposed to die. So they accept him back so that they can question him, and it's assumed that they were going to kill him afterwards. The soldier in charge puts another stronger Amagasa fungus into his head, and he starts answering their questions, admitting that he met up with one of the revolutionary womans, and then we have a dramatic scene where he actually resists the fungus and fights back, showing us that he's quite strong for a soldier. And I assume that his genetics have something to do with this. I assume that it has to do with the wolf scar. I don't know for sure. They don't go into too much detail about that. And then we get the plot twist of the head soldier who was torturing this guy actually being the leader of the revolutionaries and just being a double agent. Does this make sense? So seeing as how strong he is and how resistant he is to Amagasa's mind control, they decide to kind of let him in to the revolutionary side. But as we continue the manga series, we see that he is a terrible spy. He is constantly fighting with the other soldiers and getting into trouble. One of the ways he gets into trouble actually leads to his voice being recorded, and them playing the recording every morning to all the other soldiers, telling them to find who it is. Now, in the meantime of all that, he is getting introduced to these pills, or I guess we as the audience are getting introduced to these pills. They have armament hockey in this manga series. It's just, they threw that in there. Hence the reason why it's called Fungus and Iron. They literally have these pills that can make it so you can turn your parts of your body into iron. And that's how a lot of them fight. There are also these other pills that we don't get into too much, but it's kind of just thrown out there. So he was training with this guy for like a little while. He still has not met up with his girlfriend, and to be honest, I think that his girlfriend might die. But yeah, his trainer, despite being super ultra powerful, much better fighter than him, his trainer takes the fall for him so that they'll stop playing his voice on the even though it's like his fault entirely that they had a voice recording of him. His trainer takes the fall for him. Not any of the other rebel soldiers, maybe the weaker ones that they could actually expend. No rebel soldier who is already going to die, like has some kind of illness. No. This guy, the trainer, the guy who's ultra powerful, has been nothing but complimented throughout this manga. He takes the fall for the main character. It's kind of tropey, but that's what it is. Overall, I don't think that this was a bad read. I've only read through volume 1. I kind of like the idea of, you know, there being an organization that's mind-controlling soldiers. It kind of loses me, though, when they're killing off their own soldiers just for the fun of it. And I kind of wonder, what else are they fighting besides the rebels? Well, what else is going on here? Are they at war with anyone else? Are they trying to take over the world? Does that mean they're at war with other countries? And part of the pull of how they get you to keep on reading the story is by just having all this vagueness that you want answered. The only time where I really felt strongly about enjoying it was, you know, obviously his girlfriend being introduced and giving him a motivation. A scene where he's resisting the mind control was super good. Then it just drops off into more shonen-y training scenes, him doing stupid things and getting people killed who shouldn't be killed, and it kind of ended on a sour note for me. I do have some curiosity for these darker shonen type genres, but honestly, there aren't many of them that have actually pulled in my interest, just because I guess I'm not super into gore or horror type themes. I mean, I like psychological horror fine, but you know, there's some things that are just too gross for my stomach to handle. But as far as like the gore and everything, this was fairly tame. It didn't make my stomach turn at any places. Anyway, let's conclude this review here. It definitely has potential, it has places where it shines, but overall I think it's a bit messy and can be chalked up to kind of just okay. But have you read Fungus and Iron? Have you read further than I have? Does it get better? Does it get worse? Let me know in the comments section down below. That's what it's there for. Like the video if you did enjoy my review. Subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews from me. I got more videos coming out. I am sorry that the videos have been fairly slow. It's been a little bit chaotic trying to get the computer situation situated. So thank you for your patience, and I'll see you next time. Till then, guys, bye! This video is sponsored by no one. Which is exactly why you should head over to burningstarcomics.net, where you can purchase independent comics made by me and my friends. You can even head over to Subscribestar, where you can join the fan club and get sneak peeks at new comics and art made by yours truly. Speaking of the fan club, let's give them a shout out.
Program restart.